Hi, I'm Roger Brinkley, and the tip I want to be able to give you today is how to track Facebook offline events so that you can get accurate information about how effective your Facebook ads are. Now, the problem with Facebook ads that we've had in the past is that once you get to the Amazon page, you can't actually track the purchase. And what we're going to do with what we're able to do now is through a new tool that Facebook has put in called offline events, be able to actually track that information and tie it back to a specific person on Facebook and effectively be able to tell how effective an ad is within how effective a Facebook ad is. So to do that, the first thing that we're going to have to do is we're going to log into our business account. I've set up several tabs here on my window to start with. So here's our business manager. And we're going to drop down here into all tools. We're going to go over to offline events. And that page is going to come up. Now, while it's coming up, let me tell you about what offline events really are. These were actually designed for other industries like the car industry. So car dealerships could track and see how effective their ads were. So once they had somebody who sold, they would put all of their key data in there. Well, we get that key data from Amazon. So what we want to be able to do is to track that just exactly the same way the car dealership would. Now, to be able to do this, first thing you want to do is you want to come into here and you want to add a data source. And you want to add an online event set. Give it a name. In our case, we call it the Amazon offline sales. Give it a description, and then just say create. And now I'm not going to create it because we already have one. You can see the one that we have here. Now it's not showing any effective data right now, but let me show you where you go and you get that data. Now you're thinking, okay, I can now post the events, but where's my data going to come from? Well, if you are a Managed by Stats customer, you can go into Managed by Stats and you go into Generate Report. And when this comes up, one of the report types that you can choose is Facebook online events. Now, what I do is I choose a specific day. So I could go and I could choose February 1st through February 1st. And then I slide down here to the bottom. Now, one thing that's important here is to be able to do this show one line per description. Otherwise, what you're going to get is multiple entries for every unit that a person purchased. And that's exactly what you don't want. You just want one line that is showing every single purchase. And that works out much more effectively. You'll get the details for each one, but you'll have a one-line description and then all the products that were purchased. And then just come down here and go generate CVS file. And it's going to generate that file. There it is. You download that file. Now we can take a look at what this file actually looks like. And I store these in a certain location. Offline events files. And I give them a specific date. So we said this was 2018-02-01. Amazon contacts. And then I would just say save. Boom, it's there. Now let's go take a look at that, what that file actually looks like. And I'm going to go show you some prior history. Go to our reports, our event files. There you can see one. Now here you can see some of the previous ones that I had in the previous 30 days. And then if we go further back, let's just open one and we'll take a quick look at it. It's a simple CVS file. You can see how we have the individual purchases, one per line of an individual, what they purchased, how many of them that they purchased, and so on and so forth, the SKUs. This is perfect. This is exactly what we need. So what we're going to do is we're going to come up here. I'm going to bring this window back up, and we're going to come back over here, and we have our online event sets. If we click on the Amazon offline sets, this is what's going to come up. Now you can see here, so what we want to do is we want to upload offline events, select the file, the one that we just did. Now the date that we chose on that was the 1st, so we're going to go down here to my reports, and FBA offline events. There's my contacts. I'm going to do the open. Now I'm just going to go through and map the data. Looks like it's going to try to do an initial data mapping. Once you have this done, it'll do all of these for you. Once you do the first one, generally speaking, you never have to do it again. Occasionally you may have to map a particular piece to a particular data, but generally not. Okay, and then next we're going to review that. And 100% of the rows were posted. It looks like we had a problem with one, and that's because somebody from the Dominican Republic ordered the product from us, and that's why, or wherever PH is, and that's why that particular record would not work correctly. It's one thing it doesn't show is it doesn't show up correctly. So this, post it, off it goes. Now let me show you the actual results that come in. So let's change our date here, and we have the last 7 days. We're going to change these. I want to show you the results that we saw in December. So this is December 1st through the 31st. So we're going to update this. And wow, we see we see a total of, we had a total of 2,110 2,110 results received. Total value was $54,000. That's most of what we did in this month. The matched events, we were able to match about 75% of those. Match value is that. We could attribute 10% of the events that we had to the Facebook ads. And the attributed value that we had of those was $4,551. Now let's go to specific days. Now what's interesting here is as we go through, take a look, and we can see on a specific day. So we had 74 events received, and we only had one attributed event on that particular day. Here we had 2 attributed events. As we get into our dates, one thing I should do is do event time. Because if you do the upload time, you're not going to get the right information there. You're not going to get the moment-to-moment information that you really want. This is a much better display of what we're looking for. So on the 6th of January, we had 57 matching events. Of those, we were able to attribute 4 events to the Facebook ads that we were running. Cost us $106, or we were able to generate $106 in sales. The thing I want to show you here is this data isn't exactly accurate from the aspect of how many sales were actually responsible for in the Facebook ads that we had. But one thing that we can see is how these ads were effective for us. Notice here on, as we start to move up from the 7th to the 9th, the 10th, the 11th, we get to the 17th and 19th. These ads were very effective. We had over 175 events during that time period, yet we only had 331 attributed events. So not everything that you're going to get is going to get recorded here, but it gives you a much better indicator of how successful those ads were and which ones were tied to a particular event than what you certainly had before. One other thing that I want to show you is if we pop over to the Ads Manager, and I've already got this set up for the particular dates of December 1st through the 31st. And you can see here that we've set up a specialized report called the Amazon Conversion Report. And we can look at the, so we had 1,542 clicks for the PBO1 holiday campaign that we ran. We reached 41,000 people. Our cost was 82 cents per click. And we're thinking, okay, yeah, that was pretty effective. We spent $1,263, and yeah, I would spend that amount of money to get that particular cost. Good frequency numbers, good number of button clicks, getting people to go and look at this. Now, offline purchases, 1,183. Total purchases, 76. So of the 577, we were getting a little more than 12% of the purchases from the button clicks once they went and took a look at the product and then came back. Now they could be coming back. They could be coming back as a different user later on. They still may be able to use the codes. But the cost of our offline purchases for this particular product and acquiring that one particular individual was $16.67. That's not a bad number. This one down here obviously is not as effective. The TCO2 holiday campaigns, those were not quite as effective as the other campaigns were up here. And obviously this first holiday campaign, we only ran this for a few days. That's why the impressions are so low, the button clicks are so low, and the unique clicks. And we only had one purchase, but it was worth $9.64. So I hope that is gives you a good idea of how you can get much better data than what you had before, other than just saying, oh, my sales rised. You get information about, detailed information about how they rose, which ones were in there. One caveat with this is that it's going to take a day or two to track the sales. You can obviously go in and get the reports at various times throughout the day, but I recommend just doing it at one time during the day, and you'll be much better off with that. One last thing that they wanted us to tell you was how effective was this tip as far as in your process increasing your sales. Not really anything other than the fact that I now know how effective my ads really were, and now I can target my ads a little bit better. I can tell when an ad is really starting to fail and when it's succeeding, when I need to cut it off. And that in itself is, if I can save ad dollars, it's a great deal.